This video is brought to you by Wealthfront. Check out their link down below. Hey everyone, me Kevin here. Yesterday, crypto prices went insane on CoinMarketCap, where all of the prices seemed to be multiplied by like 15 to 9 million, which was insane. Everybody felt like they were a trillionaire. You had the same issue then show up on Binance, which potentially makes sense because Binance owns CoinMarketCap after all. But you also saw the issue show up on Crypto.com, other apps, and even Coinbase and Coinbase Pro, where they had to start basically removing the appearance of coins from people's profiles to prevent them from thinking that they can sell and become trillionaires. Folks, this is maddening. The crypto disaster of yesterday was crazy. But there is also a crazy vulnerability that exists in our internet ecosystem right now that could end up proving Jerome Powell right. Today, a lot of folks are going to be talking about Jerome Powell, but they're going to forget what Jerome Powell says the biggest vulnerability in America is. And that's not terrorism, it's not a banking crisis, it's not a financial crisis, it is cybersecurity. And folks, according to at least one cybersecurity CEO, this right now, what we are facing is the single biggest, most critical vulnerability of the last decade. And folks, who knows, but maybe it had something to do with the crypto glitch and disaster that we saw yesterday. In this video, I'm going to break down what the latest vulnerability is and how software and apps that you use, including things like iCloud, Tesla, Steam, and millions of other servers, not people, could be affected by. Let's get right into it. So first, according to sysadmins across the world, this is a sysadmin's worst nightmare. Why? Because what we're experiencing is a zero-day vulnerability known as the Log4Shell vulnerability, and it has to do with an exploit in the Log4J or Log4Java essentially portion of Apache. And the purpose of Log4j is data logging for Java applications. Data logging is exactly what it sounds like. You wait for a system to log events that have happened. You know, this could be useful for appliance, banking, troubleshooting, you name it. Makes sense so far, right? Apache contains a data logging utility called Log4j, and that's used for Java and currently has this major vulnerability. The Apache Software Foundation is in fact the one who acknowledges that this could affect millions of servers worldwide. Twitter, CloudFlare, iCloud, Steam, you name it. CloudFlare's chief security officer, Joe Sullivan, goes as far as saying, "I'd be hard-pressed to think of a company that is not at risk." And so started taking a look at what the heck this is. And here's what we know. But first, a message from our sponsor. Good long-term investing doesn't have to feel like a roller coaster. You can't help but feel beat up sometimes if you're trying to do it all yourself in time to market. There's tons of data out there that shows that investing in globally diversified funds and portfolios of low-cost index funds is quite simply the best way to steadily grow your wealth. If it sounds complicated, don't worry. It's much easier than it sounds. Regardless of your financial knowledge, Wealthfront makes it easy, affordable, and accessible to invest. To open a new investment account, you just need $500 and a few minutes of your time. Wealthfront handles the rest for an annual fee of just 0.25%, which is virtually nothing when you consider the stress savings alone. Once you open and fund your account, Wealthfront software will manage all of it for you. It employs strategies like rebalancing to keep you at a desired risk threshold, and it will even look for opportunities to lower your taxes through tax loss harvesting, all done automatically. From general savings to retirement accounts, Wealthfront has you covered. You can have Wealthfront create a portfolio for you based on your risk tolerance, or if you want, you can build it from scratch as well. This is great for those who want the benefits of an automated investing platform with more freedom. So if you want to focus more of your money into tech or EVs or maybe healthcare, you can use Wealthfront to build a portfolio based on exactly the sectors that you really believe in. So all you have to do is check out the link down below, go to invest.wealthfront.com/meetkevin and learn more. We know that this vulnerability is not only widespread, but it's potentially catastrophic. It basically allows attackers to remotely execute code on other people's servers. So in the case of crypto, in theory, somebody could remotely send a ping, essentially, and I'm oversimplifying here, send a ping or a message to a server and then have a server execute a total set of code. This is a very similar exploit, but it's different from the last time we saw a major exploit like this, and this was Heartbleed back in, I believe, 2014. take a look at how Heartbleed would work, and it shows you how bad this is. Usual server response would be, hey, you send a message, server, send me a 4-letter word if you're alive. It's like a ping. Send me the word bird if you're alive, let's say. Server replies with bird. Hey, I'm alive. I'm online. Okay? Now, malicious usage, which is similar, slightly different, but similar to this Log4j exploit. Okay, watch how bad this is, okay? Server, send me this 500-letter word if you are there. And then all of a sudden, rather than replying with the word bird, which is a 4-letter word, the server replies with the following. Bird. Server master key is the following, and the user wants to change their password to blah, 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 blah. In other words, giving somebody potentially unrestricted access to servers. This was so bad that folks in Minecraft were able to send messages to other people. Then, just by sending a message to somebody else, force a server to make changes on their end, allowing people in Minecraft to basically get hacked through this glitch. This is crazy. I mean, you can remotely execute code basically on somebody else's server just by sending them a message. This is bad. And not a lot of people are talking about it because it's slightly complicated, but I'm not a tech expert, and this just sounds bad. This, folks, is one of the biggest vulnerabilities, seriously, that we've seen since Heartbleed. Heartbleed came out in Feb 2012, but wasn't patched until April of 2014 because folks didn't really realize it until 2014 because then it started getting exploited. These vulnerabilities can exist and they become issues when they start getting exploited. It's worth noting that cybersecurity firm from Crowdstrike recently updated their blog and said that Crowdstrike has identified a malicious Java class file hosted on an infrastructure database associated with a nation-state adversary. So you're already starting to potentially get terrorist sponsoring states using this exploit. Very bad. Who knows? The crypto price changes we saw yesterday could just be the tip of the iceberg. We don't know if these are related, but it's just worth noting, massive crazy crypto glitch yesterday, which is the day after this Log4j issue started becoming a lot more known. And now we're talking about it the day after, and who knows? This could just be the beginning. I mean, AWS with Amazon just sent out another alert that they're having an outage. It's ridiculous. But anyway, this vulnerability is huge. And here's some important things to keep in mind. Cybersecurity agencies around the world, including the United States Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, are issuing a lot of alerts on this. And it was actually surprisingly Alibaba's cloud security team who first disclosed this vulnerability. This vulnerability was initially made public, though not popularized until the last couple days here, was initially made public on the 9th. And basically, users have been instructed to update their servers to a new version or reconfigure as soon as possible. But it's not as easy as it sounds because if you're using older versions of Java, you can't just upgrade to Log4j. Even if your Java was up to date, an update could cause downtime, which could cause compliance issues or just functionality issues. It's not that easy to just update. And so patching this has become a very big issue. And so this is where you actually, and this is potentially a stock to keep an eye on, though the valuation's a little wild, look at a company like CloudFlare. So CloudFlare acts as kind of like a bodyguard of the internet to try to prevent these sorts of things from happening. I'll just quickly depict how this could look. So let's say, rather than fixing the issue over here, which obviously is the ultimate goal, let's say rather than your server communicating directly with the client, you had a bodyguard in between and it was called CloudFlare. And so basically when a client requests information from your server, it goes to CloudFlare first, and then CloudFlare gets the information, checks to make sure it's not extra information, and then ultimately says, no, we're not sending all that, we're just gonna send this, and then provides what's being asked. So if you get a company like CloudFlare, which does a whole host of services, this being one example of them, they do CDN services or whatever as well, they can actually stand between the client and the server to prevent these sorts of issues. Once somebody gets into your server, it's bad days. That's why this vulnerability is a big issue. And it's one of the things that's made me appreciate the fact that not only is CloudFlare a 7-figure investment for me, so I just want to be very transparent, I do invest in the stock, but, and look, there are other cybersecurity companies, even CrowdStrike. Honestly, CrowdStrike has probably a better forward valuation. CrowdStrike has a forward PE to 2025 of 90. CloudFlare has a forward PE of 353. Now, it's recently come down about 30% off of all-time highs. It's performed incredibly well. They're expecting 39% year-over-year growth with 78% gross margins. Crowdstrike is expecting somewhere around 33% year-over-year growth with 76% gross margins. So these are incredible companies, but more nascent technologies. So you're paying a lot valuation-wise for these companies. But these sorts of vulnerabilities continue to reiterate to me, gosh, we really gotta pay attention to cybersecurity. And I feel like it's not sexy yet because we're not seeing the big hacks yet. But I think personally, we're starting to see the red flags. The red flags are the crypto glitch we saw yesterday, the AWS outages that we keep seeing, the fact that companies like CloudFlare can stand in between servers and clients to prevent these sorts of crazy issues. Cybersecurity is something that people think of when you need it. It's kind of like you don't wake up thinking about the cops every day, but you know they're there. Now, I don't want to get political about liking cops or not liking cops, right? But the point is, you expect the cops to show up if you dial 911, right? Imagine if you didn't have a 911. That'd be kind of like being naked on the internet without cybersecurity firms. So it doesn't have to be these companies, but I highly encourage pay attention to cybersecurity going forward for this next decade. Because when J-Powell says that is the biggest risk we face, and we're seeing these massive sorts of vulnerability that could give people access to basically any server across the world, it's no surprise that hacks like what we saw with crypto are happening, or not necessarily hacks, or it could have just been a glitch, but I get sussed out when I think that, okay, it's just a glitch that all, excuse me, that all of a sudden, sorry, I get allergic and I start coughing when I think of all the BS that this isn't actually a hack. Anyway, why do I not think it's a glitch? I think it's not, because why all of a sudden are we getting some random altcoin called Cocos showing up at the top of CoinMarketCap as the #1 most substantial cryptocurrency. And we see that despite it not even lining up price-wise with Bitcoin or Ethereum after the glitch. This is a token that's ranked 483 right now on CoinMarketCap. It's down 3% today, but I'm just a little sussed out. When you see things that kind of leave the fingerprints or the breadcrumbs of a hack, it kind of makes me start thinking about cybersecurity. Now, I could be wrong about all of this. It's just my opinion about this glitch we saw. We know this massive vulnerability exists. And let's just say I'm buying the dip on Cloudflare. Okay? Full transparency out there. If you appreciate these sorts of videos, please consider checking out my programs in building your wealth. Check out that link down below for Wealthfront. And folks, we'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much. Goodbye.